dream situation. Meanwhile, his former club, Chelsea. If you haven't seen their statement, you should have a look at it. They've hit out at Maresca, claiming he was tapped up in 2025 while still under contract at the club. I'll read a bit of that out in just a moment. But let's check in now with Joe Oliver from the City Ramble podcast. How you doing, Joe?
I'm not too bad, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. It's not a big shock, is it, that Maresca's come in, but how are you feeling about it?
You know what? I'm weirdly kind of excited for it. I mean, I'm only 19, so basically the best part of, over half of my life has been with Pep Guardiola in charge of the club. So part of me is, disappointed that he's gone, and obviously I wanted him to stay. But the other part of me is really excited to see City in this kind of new era, under this new, leadership, similar style of football. But it's going to be nice. We've already seen some of his quotes saying he wants to have a bigger squad. He doesn't want to be as big of a figurehead as Pep. So there's going to be some changes, and I'm excited to see how City do under a new kind of manager.
Joe's 19 and he's been a City fan his whole life. You need some misery in your life, mate.
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
You need some footballing
it's
misery.
It's coming. Trust me.
Hey, look, my dad keeps me grounded. All right, he tells me about the times we were, playing against Gillingham in the playoff final. All I've experienced is success. So I'm humble. All right, as Harlan would say, I've stayed humble.
Listen, the courtrooms will keep you grounded, boy. 115 times. Don't worry about that. Under Maresca, I've had an eye on our Chelsea fans. Sort of saw him go. I think you saw at Chelsea they clearly got a lot worse, and the players were gutted when he went. What's your sort of perception of where he's been elsewhere? Leicester, he got them promoted, but there was some
obviously
grumbles.
Been at City,
some style of play. So what do you see from where he was with Leicester and Chelsea?
I think the main thing for me is, like you say, the players were gutted. There was that kind of connection there. You can see already with the links we're having with players. Malo Gusto, I think the wording they used was he was seduced by a reunion with Maresca. So the guys clearly love him. I think, he was successful there, winning trophies at Chelsea. The Club World Cup, one of the only people to beat Luis Enrique and that PSG team. So he's got that kind of credibility behind him. I'm not sure why a lot of people, even City fans really, have kind of been dismissing him and saying, we ought to be going out for Vinny or Enrique or something like that. When I think, Maresca has got some qualities about him that are really impressive. And I think as well, even if you don't think about his time at Chelsea and at Leicester, and you look at the time he spent at City, he was our assistant manager in our most successful ever season. That should be enough to say, clearly there's something about this guy that he can continue this success that Pep brought to this club. And I mean, apparently, or rumours are that he was the guy who was suggesting to have John Stones in midfield, and that transformed our season that year. So if he's coming up with ideas like that when he's Pep's assistant, who knows what success he's going to bring when he's the head coach.
Yeah. Obviously they've already spent big this summer too. Elliot Anderson on the verge of that mega money move. How are you feeling about him coming into the club?
I'm absolutely buzzing. I think a lot of people are, maybe rightfully so, whatever, going to point out City spending big fees, but that's just the world of football nowadays. Money is, at the end of the day, it's not my money that I'm spending. My season ticket might pay not even, nowhere near like 0.001% of that transfer fee. So I frankly don't care about the money side of things. The way I look at it is we've probably got, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League right now. It sets our midfield up for the next 5 years, however long his contract's going to be. And I mean, I just think he can only get better. Just think of that midfield. Rodri, if we keep him, Anderson and Cherki. That's a title-winning midfield right there. So for me, I don't care about the fees. I'm just happy we've got him because he's the most sought-after, Premier League midfielder, and he's coming to Manchester City without Pep Guardiola in charge. Shows we're still there and thereabouts, even without the greatest manager of all time in charge.
Do you think Rodri goes?
I think as this saga drags on, I'm kind of bored of it now because even in all the interviews, he's kind of going, I'll decide my future after the World Cup. Mate, it's not that hard to just say, look, I'm a City player, I'll answer that question after the World Cup. Instead, he's kind of playing up to the media. And to be honest, I think he might stay, but I think it could be a case of he stays for his final year of his contract and then he goes on a free, which, if you ask me, I think I'd rather we just cash in 70, 80 million from Real Madrid, something like that, and bring in a young upcoming midfielder. We've got Elliot Anderson who can do that job now. Maybe I think it might be time to cash in if he is going to leave. But it's not my decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, Arsenal could go for him instead of Bruno, maybe.
Do you want to know my prediction, just quickly, on Enzo Maresca? I have a feeling he might be the guy before the guy. Do you know what I mean? After you've had a big, long legacy manager, someone comes in for a year or two, and then I think it'll be Vincent Kompany for another big, long era like Pep. I don't think Maresca's going to be there long.
Is it but like a Moisey situation? And he does badly,
like an Unai Emery at Arsenal.
Okay.
Between Wenger and Arteta.
What do you think of that, Joe?
I 100% agree. I think clearly City have looked at the market. They can't go after your Xabi Alonso's, your Vincent Kompany's, your Enrique's, and I think that Maresca, right place, right time. He's clearly worked within City before. He's got this backlog of success wherever he goes. So I would say it's kind of, get him in there for 2 or 3 years. He can kind of take the burden of being the man to replace Pep Guardiola, maybe win us a Carabao Cup, an FA Cup, get us in a title race for half a season or whatever. I'm not expecting him to come in and win league title after league title or Champions Leagues, but he can kind of be that stopgap, take the burden of being the guy to replace Pep, and open the door for Company afterwards. Who, I think I wouldn't want Company as the guy who has to take that burden of being the replacement Pep, because it's a poison chalice. Yeah. I'd rather be somebody who hasn't really got that connection to the club like Vinny has, and have Maresca in, take that burden, and then Company can come in and be the upgrade.
Yeah, we've just got to talk about Chelsea throwing their toys out the pram about all of this. To be fair, they're making a fair bit of cash out of it. I think 17 million. That could pay for Granit Xhaka. But yeah, let's read a bit of their statement. I mean, it's much longer than this, but they say in December 2025, our head coach, Maresca, unexpectedly and abruptly resigned from his position. Obviously, we felt let down as we believed that his head and heart were focused on another club and another opportunity despite having just arrived at Chelsea the year before. My favourite bit of the statement is actually the last paragraph where they go, looking forward to next season, in Xabi Alonso we have a manager who has an exceptional football mind and is a professional of the highest integrity. Yeah, a bit of a parting blow there, I think, for Enzo Maresca and their chance to explain what happened to their supporters.
Yeah, I mean, it's very bitter, do you know what I mean? But it just shows that City, I think it's probably a bit reassuring for a lot of City fans, maybe, and maybe not what a lot of other opposition fans want to hear, that City can attract managers and basically, even just the rumours of a manager potentially leave, and he might even still sign on at that point, that a manager is willing to quit his job and effectively just wait in the wings to take over from him. That's the position that City are in, and maybe it's a sign of the food chain that City are above Chelsea at the moment. Who knows? But it's promising for me that City have still got that kind of pull power in the transfer market in terms of players and managers, that even with this kind of jeopardy of 1-1-5 and how is City going to cope under new leadership, we can still attract the very best.
What are your expectations, Joe, for next season? And what are you hoping for? I mean, given that you're 19 and have only watched City, you're probably hoping for another treble, aren't you? But what do you think success looks like for Man City next season under Maresca?
My expectations are in the floor. They are. It is just, for me, it is. Last season already was kind of a growing pains kind of a season. I didn't expect us to be in the title race as long as we were, and I think with the squad that we've got available, maybe we can get ourselves in the title race, but do I expect us to go out and win it? Probably not. I think for me, Maresca, the baseline should be continue our excellent record of qualifying for the Champions League for however many seasons we have done, go far in the cup competitions. If we can get ourselves in the title race, even for just half a season, 3/4 of it, I'd be happy, because that's above my expectation. I think it's a season of transition. We've got a young squad that maybe are just about getting to the point where they can go and challenge for major trophies, getting that experience under the belt of last season, winning the Carabao and the FA Cup, that I'm not exactly expecting them to go and fight on all four fronts, and do that continuously. So for me, a good run in the cup competitions, maybe an FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and just keep up that Champions League record would be a good enough season for me.
Jacob, how nervous are you about Manchester City under Maresca next season? You're Arsenal, the champions, of course.
Look, they should be as close to Arsenal as anyone. Why would you? I mean, Liverpool, new manager, they'll be losing Mo Salah, bit of a transition. Chelsea, a lot to do there to make them strong again. City should be as close to Arsenal as anyone, and I think there's still players within that City team where you go. I mean, Erling Haaland for me is one of the best players on the planet, maybe the best striker on the planet. They of course they'll stay close to Arsenal. I still think, especially if they lose Rodri, I know Elliot Anderson's a fantastic footballer. If you lose Rodri, the same summer that you've lost Stones, you've lost Bernardo, De Bruyne went, that's a lot of that core that won everything for City. Kyle Walker gone as well. Some of the players that have replaced those players, like I think Vardiol, for example, is a world-class player. There's others in there where I'm less sure, and I it sounds insane. I still think they need a couple more world-class players to be what they were 2 or 3 years ago, dominating everything. They just don't have players in there that I trust to do that. Ryan Cherky's a brilliant player. Do I trust him to win trebles for Manchester City? I don't know. Semenyo, brilliant, probably one of the best wingers in the league. Is he at the level of some of the players City have had in the past? I don't know. So I feel like there's a bit of a rebuild needs to happen there.
Yeah, potentially. Joe, I honestly think, by the way, if England win the World Cup, retire from being a football fan, mate. There's no point. There's nothing else for you, is there? You just experienced everything. Mate, absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, lads. Thanks a lot.
There we go. Joe Oliver from the City Ramble podcast there. What a life he's had. Oh,
Do you know what?
Incredible.
Can I just say now, credit to him for doing a City Ramble podcast, because there's a lot of jokes about the size of City's fan base. Yeah. So 2 years ago, I think it was, when Arsenal were in a title race with Manchester City, I was like, I want to go beyond enemy lines. I want to do a bit of research on City, see what's actually going on there. You know, what's he actually doing tactically? You know, The Athletic. They do a podcast for Newcastle.
Yep,
for
very
Arsenal.
good one.
They do one for Arsenal. They do one for Spurs, for Manchester United, for Chelsea. Halfway through City's treble-winning season, The Athletic dropped their Man City podcast because no one was listening to it.
Wow.
So
Apart from you.
Well, yeah, I know. This is nosy Arsenal fans. But seriously, credit to Joe, because the thing is, we all sit around and laugh at City and go, oh, they've got, small fan base, blah, 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 not a big club. It's like, the only way you become a big club is young fans like Joe building it up and making a bit of a community there. So, I mean that genuinely, credit to him.
Yeah, good man. This is the Monday Club here on TalkSport 2.